one of the resources that we've brought. In fact, we just did a taping of her, because it's not only what you decide, but what you negotiate, the decisions that you negotiate, is Dr. Victoria Medbeck. And I would encourage you to dig into her work. I think actually having the best negotiation skills, particularly among your mid-management and senior team, is the best. Let me tell you where she's different. She's a Northwestern Professor Star, voted many years in a row the best teacher they've got up at Northwestern. Where she's challenging the industry is this. Most of the negotiation techniques we learned, the problem is you never want to see the human again. The problem is, most of the things we have to negotiate as businesses, we got to then live with that supplier and that banker and that executive and that customer for many months, if not many years. And so the challenge is, how do you maximize your negotiation while building, strengthening the relationship instead of hurting it? What I think was interesting, just I'm going to make a little side point, where she really slapped the industry upside the head in some sense, was this issue about, very simply, who names price first. What's kind of the standard rule in negotiation? Whoever names price first, typically what? Loses. Her point is, and she makes the case and gives you the tools for figuring out what that price ought to be, whoever then names the price first should and will most of the time win. And if for no other reason, will also strengthen the relationship. Think about it. If you're going to go ahead and put a price on the table first, the other party's going to likely counter it. And you put them in a position to say the price you named was not good, either too high or too low. If instead you let them name the price first and they go really high or really low, you are in the position to have to kind of, in a subtle way, say that they were wrong. And that hurts the relationship. And so that's the kind of subtleties that I think are important for us to learn, and I think areas like negotiation are progressing in our knowledge and tools. Now, let me tell you the challenge, and we go back to Aristotle. I think he figured it out. Excellence is not an event, it's this habit. The challenge is, and I want to speak just for a moment to the pure entrepreneurs in the room, and I see who you are. I know a lot of you. When I say the word discipline around many entrepreneurs, they immediately get the hives, or they start to twitch or something. It's like, the reason I run my own company is so I don't have to do all that corporate stuff. And if we're going through our checklist of habits and it starts to turn your stomach and you can't even imagine doing any of this in your company, then the most important decision you must make, and hopefully you've got them with you because you've already made the decision, is who is the right number two to help me run the company. This person who is unbelievably disciplined. Let me make a confession. I do not like to implement anything I teach in my own company. But I know we must do it. And so thank goodness this last year I got a president hired, Patrick Tien from Singapore. His father was one of the ex-Supreme Court judges of Singapore. This is one disciplined family and country. And he's the one that makes sure our who, what, when is done after our weekly meeting each week and is emailed out to the team and holds our feet to the fire on all the other disciplines that we teach. Now, quick hint. One of the things I've learned, if you're looking for a number two, is this is the one position. It's not 100%, but you're going to have a much, much greater chance of this person working out long term if this person is somebody you've known a long time. Doesn't really matter as much with the other executives. Always better if you have known the people for a long time. But particularly number two, that's why I'm convinced the Ballmer thing has worked out for Bill Gates. They were buddies going all the way back to Harvard, where Kevin Rollins was just a Bain consultant who had come in, and I don't think there was the history there with Michael Dell, and ultimately he didn't work out. Now those are just two data points, but I've got hundreds of others, and the correlation is very strong. Where the number two works out is somebody, it's a brother, sister, friend, college roommate, worked for me, left the company, and it's come back now, moved up through the organization over the last 10 or 15 years. There's real history there to make sure that you know, if nothing else, how to fight without killing each other in the process. And that only occurs when you've been out bass fishing or doing a sporting event or whatever together, and you see the true person in those moments and whether or not you can stand each other in the process. And so that's what becomes critical.